On May 17th, Elon Musk tweeted, quote, 20% fake/spam accounts, while 4 times what Twitter claims, comma, could be in asterisks much higher. My offer was based on Twitter's SEC filings being accurate. Yesterday, Twitter's CEO publicly refused to show proof of less than 5%. This deal cannot move forward until he does. So some have argued that this is just a stalling tactic, or that Musk doesn't actually, or is looking for a way to back out of this deal. And while that may be true, a lot of people are now talking about the issues that Twitter has with spam accounts, bot accounts. And that's what I'm going to be getting into and providing some context to in today's episode of the BB&J podcast. I'm your host, John Lint, and yeah, let's get right into it. So to contextualize and clarify some things, Twitter has publicly said that 5% of their monthly active users are bots. This is a very important metric to note, because when you get information about bot accounts, it's kind of like a virus. It's hard to track it unless it's active and moving around. So there could be a bunch of bot accounts that just aren't active right now, and there's really no way to tell. And this is true for pretty much all platforms, right? So monthly active users is commonly the framework, is the frame of reference when talking about these things. So Twitter has said 5%, like I mentioned. Monthly active users, that's people who are active month to month, at least once a month on Twitter, are bots. Research indicates that 9 to 15% of total Twitter users are bots. Now, this is something that's important to recognize, because Elon Musk has been referring to this, his number is 20%. And you do see a kind of a range that is definitely an upper end of that. But a lot of these things are referring to an estimation of the total amount of Twitter users. Because remember, if they're not specifying the monthly active users, then they'd be referring to the overall total number of users. So the 5%, while that might be inaccurate, it could be closer to something like 9%, is still probably more accurate than 20%, and but with this specifically, is this something that's unique to Twitter, or are these bot problems common across platforms? I'm going to be talking about 2 platforms that do have these things tracked, partially because they've been taking an active hand at working on them. But you definitely do see bot accounts on platforms like YouTube, on platforms like TikTok. You can buy bot accounts to just engage with your content on TikTok, as well as Instagram and Facebook. But these are things that are genuine issues, and a lot of these platforms are working to deal with. But in terms of comparability to Twitter, I would say the closest thing is like Facebook and Instagram, right? And Meta owns both of them, so go figure. So let's start with Facebook. In Q4 of 2021, Facebook took down 1.7 billion fake accounts, down from 1.8 billion in the third quarter of 2021. This was part of a really robust campaign to get rid of just a ton of fake accounts that they had been struggling with for years. That you saw a spike of how many they took down in 2021. Estimates are looking at about 6 billion across the whole year, which I know sounds insane. Facebook estimates that 5% of its total users, remember, total users, not total active monthly users, are bots. And the thing is, Facebook has 2.9 billion monthly active users as of Q1 2022. So they have been taking down a massive amount of bot accounts. Unfortunately, with a lot of these things, it's kind of like whack-a-mole. You know, you knock one down, two more spring up in its place. But you know, definitely props to Facebook and the Meta company for taking a very robust approach to getting rid of these bot accounts. Now on to Instagram. In 2020, 95 million of Instagram's 1 billion monthly active users were bot accounts. So that means that about 9.5% of the monthly active users on Instagram are bot accounts. I think that this is probably not a surprise to a lot of people. You know, Instagram is kind of known for these influencers where a huge chunk, or allegedly a major chunk of their followers are bots. This is something that you definitely see a lot of on a lot of platforms. And it is really a systemic problem that I'll put it this way. If there was a simple way to just get rid of bot accounts, platforms would be doing it. They don't want bots. You know, it looks bad on them. They want organic engagement. So a lot of them are taking important steps, and we will realistically see Twitter taking some very valuable steps as the year progresses to get rid of some of those bot accounts, get that number down. But to say that this is the end, that there will ever be an end to bot accounts, I don't think we're seeing it. So that I just wanted to update you guys with some of the numbers around this situation. And you know, Twitter's a big platform. Someone buying it and privatizing it's a big deal. Whether or not he's actually going to follow through, I guess we'll have to see. But other than that, I'd like to thank you so much for listening and or watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you next week.